In the mid-1960s, Elvis Presley was a king in a cage. The boy from Tupelo, who once shook the world with his voice, was now churning out Hollywood movies. Over 30 in a decade. Thin plots, forgettable songs, and scripts that dulled his fire. His manager, Colonel Tom Parker, pushed for quantity, raking in profits while Elvis's soul starved. But one day on a sun-soaked studio lot, something snapped. Tired of being a product, Elvis walked off set, a quiet act of defiance that echoed louder than any song. That moment wasn't just a walkout. It was the spark that lit the path to his 1968 comeback special, where the king reclaimed his crown, The Hollywood Trap. By 1965, Elvis was a star trapped in a machine. Movies like Clambake and Kissin' Cousins packed theaters, but they were hollow. Weak stories about beach parties or race car drivers, stuffed with songs that felt like afterthoughts. Fans loved seeing him on screen, but Elvis cringed at the scripts. He'd risen to fame as a raw, electrifying performer, hips shaking, voice roaring with gospel and blues. Now Hollywood reduced him to a formula: smile, sing, get the girl, repeat. Colonel Parker, the cigar-chomping dealmaker, signed contract after contract, tying Elvis to studios with no room for his heart. "It's about the money, son," Parker would say. But Elvis wanted more. He wanted meaning, to feel the music again, to be the artist he knew he was. The breaking point. It was a day like any other on set. Bright lights, buzzing crew, another forgettable scene. Maybe it was Harem Scarum or Spin Out. Nobody recalls exactly. Elvis, dressed in some gaudy costume, stood under the glare, his face distant. The director called for another take, but something shifted. The king had had enough. He didn't yell or storm out. He just stopped, removed his prop jacket, set it down, and walked away. The crew froze, cameras silent. Whispers followed him off the lot. "Elvis left? Elvis left!" It wasn't loud rebellion. It was quiet, firm, unshakable. For a man under Parker's iron grip, under studio contracts and fan expectations, walking away was a radical act. He wasn't just leaving a movie. He was saying no to a system that dimmed his light. The spark of defiance. That walkout wasn't a single moment. It was a turning point. Elvis had been wrestling with his path for years. He'd confided in friends, in late-night talks, about missing the stage, the raw connection with fans. Hollywood paid the bills, but it chained his soul. Leaving the set was his first real step toward breaking free. He started questioning Parker's control, seeking allies who saw his vision. Enter Steve Binder, a young director who'd later helmed the 1968 comeback special. Binder heard Elvis's frustration and urged him to fight for his art. That day on set planted a seed. Elvis wasn't done. He was ready to be the king again, not a studio puppet. The road to 1968, the rebellion grew quietly. By 1968, Elvis was ready to take back his voice. The comeback special, aired on NBC, was his answer to years of compromise. No more flimsy plots or forced smiles. He stepped onto a small stage dressed in black leather, guitar in hand, and sang from his core. Songs like Trouble and If I Can Dream poured out with fire and truth, echoing the pain of a nation and his own hunger to be heard. The special wasn't just a performance, it was a declaration. Over 40% of America watched. Jaws dropped as Elvis proved he was still the greatest. The walkout years earlier had been the first crack in the dam, a moment of courage that led to this triumph. That day in Hollywood when Elvis walked off set wasn't about one bad movie, it was about a man refusing to be less than he was. Against the weight of contracts, managers, and a world that wanted him tame, Elvis chose himself. That quiet rebellion sparked a fire that blazed in 1968 when he stood under the spotlight, leather gleaming, and sang his truth. The king wasn't just back, he was reborn, and the world, once again, fell at his feet.